Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This time I'm going to make a sort of a cluster with all kind of fun elements to use in my journal or on a card or something like that. And I'm using the Mailbox of die set from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And here you see me using Versamark and then embossing glaze to color the top and the bottom of the mailbox. I'm not going to make the complete mailbox. I'm just using it as a sort of base for all the elements I'm adding later on. But this is me using the embossing glaze to color the top and the bottom of the mailbox. I really love using embossing powder and embossing glaze, I must say, because it always gives a great shiny effect. That's the color. It's Fired Brick from the Distress Colors, the embossing glaze from Tim Holtz. Oh, there it goes. And I'm just using my heat tool to melt the powder. And it's a bit of a vintage color. There we go. There it's ready. And it can be glued on top of the mailbox. Of course, I'm also using stamps for this project. This is one of the stamp sets from Elizabeth Craft Designs from the Postage collection as well. It's the same collection as this mailbox. There is another die set and I really cannot find it in my stash. It has to be somewhere, but I couldn't find it, so I'm using this one. And this stamp says Vintage Mail. And of course, it's a vintage mailbox, so vintage mail, vintage email. I think it says vintage mail or vintage email, but it's a fun stamp. And I decided to also use embossing glaze for this stamp. So again, I'm using my Versamark, and this time the Uncharted Mariner, I think the color is called, the embossing glaze color. And yeah, it's the blue. So the red and the blue is going to be a theme on this cluster. And this is where I use the embossing glaze, the powder. And I'm not satisfied, so I'm adding a bit of powder by hand. I do want the stamp to look good, so there we are. And more powder. I really wasn't satisfied with this one, I must say. But it's going to work out fine. I'm just patting off the excess powder and putting everything back in the jar. And luckily that went fine, because I'm always afraid that it's going to be next to the jar instead of in the jar, but it was all perfect. And again, I'm using the heat tool to melt the powder. It's done, and luckily it worked out fine. So now I'm going to glue down the top and the bottom of the mailbox. I love this die set, I must say. I love everything vintage and retro, but it's just a fun element. And you can use it on a card, in a journal, in a junk journal. You can use it on all kinds of projects. And that's the base. Then I have another die from the Planner Essentials. It's a small envelope, and I love small envelopes. I think they're so cute. And here I am. And in that set, there are two very small circles, and I die cutted them as well. And here you see me making holes on the envelope and using the two very small circles as a sort of a closure for the little envelope. But of course it's fake. It's not real. I'm just using it as a fun element on it. And I'm also using the stamp set again with the blue and the red ink to make the envelope a little bit more interesting. It's not a reality, it's a bit of an art, but it's such a fun, cute envelope to make. And here you see me adding those very small circles and do more stamping. I thought Let's add a bit of blue. And on the bottom, I wanted another blue stamp. So I'm using, I think it's a signature stamp, yeah. With blue ink, just partially, and using it on the envelope. Yeah, now I'm done stamping. Now I'm adding the small circles. I'm gluing them on there and I'm etching I'm inking all the edges, I must say. I always do that. It just emphasizes the project a bit more. It's better to see, yeah, you can really see it's an envelope when the edges are a bit darker. A bit of threads, I'm using that through the small holes I made earlier. And this is sort of my fake closure of the envelope. It's just fun. A bit of a vintage look. And it's all in the same die set. I will try to look up all the numbers and place them underneath the video. And here you see me using a few faux stamps. I have made those beforehand. I tried to make a video with it and my phone broke down, so it didn't work, but I used the same Planner Essentials postage set, and I made some stamps with that, and postage stamps, and I used a lot of stamps for that, all kinds of stamps. And here you see me stamping a postcard. It's a stamp also from the Planner Essentials. And I'm doing that on paper from 7 Dot Studio, the butterfly effect paper from Finnabair. It's one of my favorite paper sets, I must say. And again, I'm using blue and red ink together with the same stamp set. It's still the same stamp set. And one from Waffle Flower, I think it's called. And this is also a postage stamp set. And it has very small elements, which comes in very handy with these kind of projects. And it has a cute with love stamp, very cute. And those waves you always see on old-fashioned letters. Yeah, so there's my small postcard and my envelope and the faux stamps. And now it's time to assemble everything on the background. I added one more faux stamp, which I made beforehand, and glue it all down. First, I'm always placing everything on my background just to see how do I want it. And I found out how I wanted it. And as usual, you don't always see all the elements from the background. Some are a bit hidden, but if it's not there, you will miss it. Yeah. Etching the dies. Yep. I always ink everything. I can't do without the distress inks, I think. Distress oxides and the distress inks. There we go. And I'm happy so far with how it is turning out, because it's not done yet. Then I have this red, blue, white threads, and I thought it would be fun to use it on this cluster because, well, the colors fit perfect. And I decided to make a little bow, just tying everything together. Yeah, and then there's the bow. And then my project is ready. Thank you so much for watching. There will be more videos with all kinds of projects, more clusters, more junk journals, more art journaling. But this is it for now. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye.